Welcome to the I Hate.
Fuck you. Welcome to the I Hate Rappers podcast. I'm your host, Greggy Westside.
And I'm DJ Z13.
And today we have
Sam Casino.
this guy.
We appreciate you coming on. This is the first time we've recorded this.
Yeah, it totally is.
Okay.
And thanks for having me.
So full transparency, it's our second recording of this episode. So if it's a little bit more brief than normal, we apologize. The camera battery died. So let's talk really quick about being prepared. So being prepared is very important because when you plan to fail, or when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And when you plan to fail, you definitely fail. So we failed, and we're sorry, and we hope this episode is still good. Love you. All right, so deadass though. Preparation. Preparation. Go on. Your turn. You know what I'm talking about.
You talking about the content?
The content.
All right, bet. All right, so I was talking to Greg, and he wanted me to reiterate this. Basically, I make music. I'm an artist, and I'm trying to promo a new single I got coming out within the next month or so. And I've never really been a big promo guy. Like, obviously, you need to do social media promo as an artist nowadays, but I've never put much effort behind it. And because of that, my music has never really, like, popped off the way it should. I would just post once. And Greg is always going on these, like, social media tangents, and he'll, like, talk about the fucking algorithms, and they got different algorithms, and every social media company competes with each other and all this shit. And the amount that you need to post and short form and stories and all that shit is stressful. It's a lot. It seems like a lot. As an artist, who you are into this, like, to make music. That's why you're doing this shit, and that's what you love. You're not trying to be a social media person, but unfortunately you have to now. And I think when you see, like, oh my God, I got to post this many times a day on this many different things, it seems like a lot of work and a lot to take on. But I busted out the whiteboard and the marker, planned out my promo, like, all right, on this day, I'm doing this. I'm dropping this content on this platform, short form content, put that on my shorts, my reels, my TikTok, whatever. And, like, when you really plan it out like that and you say, like, all right, on this date, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this. I'm going to post this. And you know exactly what you need to make. Like, it just makes it seems so doable after planning it out like that.
Yeah, so, like, for this example, like our podcast, you said 30 clips in a month you got to post or whatever.
Yeah, like once a day.
Yeah,
for the pod.
Yeah. Like, for this podcast, for example, this is like the 15th episode we have recorded. We haven't dropped a single one yet. We haven't posted a single thing on the account yet. And the reason for it is we have 3 clips per episode. We got 45 social posts right there, plus still images, the announcement. We got close to 60 social media posts before the first one comes out.
At minimum for each
At
site.
minimum.
For each site.
Yeah.
So that 60 total becomes
180.
240.
240, yeah.
Because we're also going to post on Snapchat.
Yeah, so
nobody posts on Snapchat, and they don't think about that because you're stupid.
Yeah,
you're dumb, and you don't understand what getting paid means. Dummy.
But yeah, so like 240 pieces of content, and we're not saying this to be like, oh, look at us, but like, look at us. Like, it's easy to do. Like,
we went 3 months without recording an episode and still got that.
Yeah. And the thing is, now that we have all this content, we're still going to be making more, but now we're able to post. We can schedule the first 45 posts out, and then focus on making the next 45, and then schedule those out, and then we'll constantly be behind. So if God forbid something happens and one of us gets hurt and we can't do an episode, or I lose my voice, that's my biggest fear in life. Like,
well, I mean, if you lose your voice, I'll just keep it going. I got you. You better do the same. I'll just sit there clicking the camera. I'll be over here. Just,
you know how bad it would be if I as a host, a DJ, a radio host.
Yeah, no, that would suck
on a podcast.
That's a nightmare. That's a nightmare and a half right there, bro.
Yeah,
your whole life's fucked. Like, it's done. Like, you're like, until that voice comes back, the good 2 weeks until you're actually DJ Z13 in the mix. Until you're back to that, yeah, you're fucked,
pretty
dude.
Good.
Thank you. I think I got a radio voice. Or, like when I was DJing last night, you know what I'm saying, man? I'm up there. I'm like, all right, everybody, so listen up. This is how we're going to do the crowd contest. You know what I'm talking about? No, I feel like I could do your little, what's it called? Where
like hosting?
No, the thing when you click the button, you play.
Oh,
it. the tag.
I got a whole bunch of those.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Put them up. Put them up.
DJ Z13 in the mix. You're listening to 808s and Mixtape
Yeah,
Radio.
if you've listened to my radio show ever, you know how many tags we got. It's insane. But that's another thing. Like, before we had our first episode,
You had tags?
I had commissioned 45 tags made. And, like, so I was able to, it's all about planning.
Oh, dude, actually, all right, so last thing I'm going to say about DJing. So there's 2 buttons I know to click, and there's one in the middle that if I click, I kind of fucked up for a good 20 seconds because it's the siren that you cannot stop it.
Yep.
And it's very long, very annoying. And, it's not my DJ board, so I'm not going to tell him, get that shit out of here.
Yeah.
So I got 1 and 2 of the 8 on the D-pad, right?
Yeah.
Or the B-pad or whatever the hell it is.
Hotkeys,
yeah. So I go boom, DJ siren, boom, explosion. So I'm going, and my finger slipped the one time, and I hit number 5. No, not that. I didn't hit that. I hate that one. I hit the one below it, which Renzo queued up for it to say Young Genesis. And he was not on the show, and I'm just like, I'm like, all right. Like, I think I did that twice. I figured it out on accident. I was just like, boom, boom.
My opening DJ.
But I wasn't prepared.
Bust out that whiteboard.
But so my opening DJ, he's got tags, and you got 8 hotkeys on one side, 8 on the other, and like the 8 on the other side are his, 8 are mine, and he's gone for the summer, so I just took his out last night. But for the past few days, there's been nothing there, and like I accidentally hit it the other day, thinking it was mine, because when there's nothing there, it mirrors the other side. So I hit it. I was like, he's not on the show tonight. So yeah, I feel that. But, yeah.
Being prepared is the key.
Yeah.
So,
I was watching this Illuminati documentary the other day.
You read my fucking mind, dude. You're such a good co-host, man. Like, you're my favorite co-host that I've had to a podcast ever, and I've run a couple.
They call me Transition Terry.
Transition Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this bromance I'm caught in between. You want me to get out of here?
No, we want you. We want you right in the middle of this.
All right, say less.
This little sandwich right here is gonna come full circle. Or shall I say, triangle?
That doesn't even make sense right
Talk
now.
about the triangle.
What's a triangle?
What's a triangle?
You got to bust down it first.
All right, boom. So a triangle. If you guys ever,
three-sided shape.
Basically, I am a nerd at heart for some reason, and I like to stare at maps, and I like to understand population of cities and metro population.
We got the same socks on?
areas.
That's crazy.
Whatever.
Well, you got the high ones, but we got
got
the same socks on.
But yeah. So I like studying that type of stuff. I don't know why. It just kind of fascinates me. It's probably because I hate listening to music because I'm around so much music all the time, and I just watch YouTube in my free time now. So when you look at the map of the United States, especially in the Midwest, you got triangles all over, and people just don't see them. But you got a triangle with Cleveland, Columbus, and Pittsburgh, which is about a 2.5 hour triangle right there. So each city is 2 to 2.5 apart. And the metro population of whatever, Cleveland and Columbus and Pittsburgh combined, it's probably, I think that'd be 7-8 million, something roughly like that. And then you keep looking around, you got not equilateral, like you got obtuse triangles, you got a bunch of stuff. And so speaking of the triangle, tell us about your triangle that you're working on.
So I'm the promoter at Westside for Cincinnati. That's like all me. And Greg sends me some master plan in like I like how you didn't type it up all in one text either. I wasn't sure
I Logan
when to
Franked
respond. It was it must have been at least 40 separate messages.
Dude, I Logan Franked it.
Oh hell
So
no.
bad.
That's how I text like that, right? It's like,
Yeah, but you literally are dyslexic.
yeah, well, yeah.
Roasted.
I am.
This dude text to speeches me all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, so restart your part so I can clip this correctly.
All right, bet. So I run the Cincinnati region, and basically Louisville and Indianapolis combined with Cincy just make this perfect little triangle. They're not too far from each other.
Hour and 45 triangle.
Perfect.
Best triangle in the Midwest.
Basically, Cincinnati's going great. We're still like just trying to get that as big as possible, but now we're expanding into Louisville and Indianapolis, and we can just keep on running like back-to-back shows, all 3 of those locations. Just do like Cincy on Friday, or maybe on like a Thursday or something, and then
One on-
Louisville
yeah.
Saturday, or it doesn't really matter because it's a triangle. But
Yeah,
just
one
hit
on
one of
a-
those other two cities on Friday and then Saturday, and we got a little mini tour just like we'd be doing in Ohio.
Little
And we
Thursday,
can-
Friday, Saturday combo is crucial.
Facts.
Crucial.
And
And then you
I'd-
can hit Dayton on a Sunday as the extra city that's right around the same metro population. I had to say that.
I didn't mention this in the last recording we did, but it's important I am a tax guy. I love taxes. Oh, I don't love taxes. I love studying tax code. If you are doing these drives, 2-3 hour drives, write down what you're doing. That's all. You can write all of that off at the end of the year.
No, we about to free plug. We're not writing it down. We're going this app called Hurdler. You can't see it right here, but it's a green app with the little nerd, HURDLR. It tracks your miles, your expenses,
Yep.
and your income. And it gives you a sheet each month and for the year of what you spent. So it's year to date so far. I have lost $8,000
Mm-hmm.
according to this app.
Good shit.
So that's $12,000 in expenses, $4,000 in income, $0 in taxes, and then I also have $4,600 in deductions
Yeah.
for driving only.
This your first year doing this stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We only met like a year ago.
okay. So yeah, when
Officially,
When
you've been
you- when
asking
you-
me for a feature since you were a freshman in high
True,
school.
I've been fanned out for a while.
when you write down all this stuff, like you said, $8,000 right there that you spent, or tax deductions basically. Say you make 10,000, you only have to pay taxes on the 2,000. You pay taxes on the difference, and so like it's not good to have a net loss. But when you're starting off, you're gonna have a net loss. That basically means that for that time you spent more than you earned, so therefore you don't not spent more, but you had more deductions than you earned, and so you have
And
no
then-
taxable income basically.
Also, always try to figure out what you can turn into an asset
Mhm.
instead of, just having as an expense.
Mhm.
So, like a camera is an expense,
Mm-hmm.
but it also is an asset. That's why I got that baby right there. I got multiple lenses. I don't care, All the extra money I have, I'm putting into equipment that I use, and I can, like software, plugins, whatever. It doesn't matter, like make your stuff work for you, make your money work for you, and that way I won't have to pay taxes this year, next year, last year. I didn't, because I took a loss, according to them. But that in turn I turned to assets, and that's,
Yeah.
that's what people don't do enough.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, they want to make money off you for taxes, but they're
can
also
have-
happy
They
if
can
you.
have my sales taxed.
They're also happy if you stimulate the economy, purchase stuff, and then they get sales tax out. They're getting their money. You know what I mean? And in no way am I saying like
Cheat the system.
cheat the system,
Don't
but
cheat
like
the
you
system.
can. There's
work the system.
there's ways that you can work the system so that way small business owners like us are able to save money when you're starting up, because if you think about it right now, $100 is $100. It's whatever. But I think of it this way: if I put that $100 into an account and invested it and compounded the interest, that could be a lot in over
Like
time.
50 years.
Yeah,
when you're
so, like,
retiring.
That $100 now could be $1,000 down the road. So that's why I'm trying to save right now as much as I can and take as much loss as I can now, because I know there's gonna be a day where I'm gonna profit, and then it's gonna start going up. And
then you get fucked on taxes.
Yeah.
All right. So, before we get out of here, I'm sorry to bring it up again on the second recording.
Oh God! All right, yeah.
Talk about how sad you were.
Yeah, so since he had his first flop, Westside Cincy had his first flop at least, and I threw a shitty show basically. Every show we've had, man, no complaints, good money, good crowds, everything just went smoothly. And then for the show that we did, just nobody sold tickets at all. 3 people hit their 10 ticket minimum, and we had a lot of 0 ticket sellers. And there were some things that were kind of a little out of our control, like we had last minute drop-offs, and 2 guys got put on there either 2 days before the show or 1 day to try and push some last minute sales, but like we didn't expect much out of them. We were like really hoping to get some sales in at the door to try and profit off it, but it just nobody sold. So it was a weak show. We lost money on it.
$136 L.
Ouch. Nah, but we lost money on it. It didn't go well at all. And the worst part for me personally was just like looking at this empty ass room with weak ass crowds and having to watch these artists who I booked, who I appreciate and have a good working relationship with, have to perform for this just nobody really. And the whole like business model of like our showcase events is you're performing for your crowd, the artist before you crowd, and the artist after your crowd. So you're getting more exposure and you're being able to perform for a crowd that you yourself couldn't bring in. And that's part of the appeal. And like not achieving that for that show just like kind of fucked me up. But it was learning experience. Talked a lot about it with Greg after about like why it happened, how to prevent it again, and already we're doing things. I don't really think it's gonna happen on one of our upcoming shows, but I'm sure we'll have a flop at some point in the future because it's a little unavoidable. But it was for sure a learning experience.
Yeah, and I can tell that as long as you put the hard work in and time and effort, like you're gonna be successful because of the way you said. I had a flop. We had a flop. You weren't putting it on the artist, even though they're the ones that were selling the tickets. Like at the end of the day, if you got a promoter who's taking accountability like that, that's the promoter that really cares about the show. So it's gonna do well over time. And like you said, there's gonna be bad shows, but like if you got positive energy, like the people that run the show might come back. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
$136, it could be worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I mean that wasn't that bad of a.
And we were on tour. I think the tour as a whole profited.
Yeah,
Maybe a little.
a little bit. Yeah. I mean, the other two shows were decent, and Cincy just, dude. If basically, I'll just put it this way: we would not have taken the L if it wasn't a tour for Cincy specifically. But the specific dates wouldn't have made as much money altogether as a tour if they weren't in the tour. So like the other two shows benefited a little bit more. Mainly Columbus benefited a little bit more. I mean, they all would have been good in their separate ways, but us going down to having the hotel expense, Airbnb, having that expense kind of pushed it over, and then also having to drive down and stuff. If you were down there for school, like it'd have been fine.
Yeah.
It would have been an L. No matter what, just not a financial L at that point. And that's the worst part about it is that, we're trying to expand people's, artists' reach. And in doing so, sometimes, we'll take L's for that, and that's fine. But we also kind of gave artists an L of a show.
Yeah, for
so,
sure.
like, in
For
turn,
sure.
it might have wasted their time just as well as ours. And, there's no issue with that. And like I talked about on a previous episode, the whole business end of understanding what happens at a show, you got to understand that. But I don't know, man. I'm a little bit sad about that fail. But I'm excited for this next one.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think on the bright side, you always got more shows coming up, and now's the time to be traveling when it's hot out. And now that again with taxes, you can get. They just upped it. It's 63 cents per mile now that you can get for business travel. So it used to be 50 cents or 59 or whatever. So that extra 4 cents is going to mean a lot,
especially
in the long run,
when
you're doing 3-hour trips,
tens of thousands of miles.
Yeah.
Oh my God! All right, so but yeah, last thing with that though, download that fucking app. Or download just any driver app.
Yeah, I use one
Anytime.
called Stride, I think.
Stride, yeah. You pay per month or pay for the year type of deal.
Yeah. And then even like, well, I guess like QuickBooks doesn't do it for miles, but like QuickBooks goes through your statements on your credit card, checking account, whatever, and it tells you, hey, these look like business transactions. Are they? And you say yes or no. So even the service like that is really
I'm still
beneficial.
rocking with Hurdler.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. I hate what?
Rappers.
What do we
What do we love?
Artists.
I hate rappers.
And I love artists.
Peace.
See ya.